Hi, this is Dr. Anna Baranowski, and we're talking all about post-traumatic growth and recovery. We are very fortunate today to have Fredrike Bannink talking to us today about her amazing book, Post-Traumatic Success. I'm actually really impressed with this book because it's all about positive psychology and making a pathway available to you when you've experienced something difficult and you're looking for a route out of the negative and recognizing that there are many different ways to move towards the positive, to embrace today and to embrace post-traumatic growth after trauma. You have created a book that is just filled with not only really practical resources, but amazing stories. Tell us a little bit about what drove you to write a book that's so filled with these glorious ideas of growth after trauma.
Okay, well, thank you, Anna, for inviting me to be on your show. I started out as a CBT therapist, so I did lots of work in Holland with trauma survivors, using protocols, CBT protocols, using EMDR a lot, and I also work for Doctors Without Borders. So I'm a mental health trainer for Doctors Without Borders, which means that I've been visiting many countries in Africa and Asia where there are conflict areas, and I've been training local people there who work in refugee camps with child soldiers, doctors in hospitals who work with trauma survivors, and become very impressed with the resilience that these people show, and resilience is one of my favorite subjects. Well, I encountered solution-focused brief therapy. It's focused on what works in life instead of what isn't working. The other thing that I encountered a bit later on is the positive psychology movement, which is looking basically at strengths instead of weaknesses.
Now, it's amazing because I imagine in the course of the work that you've done, you have encountered people who have the most profoundly disturbing traumas, and yet you're able to find a way to show them their hope, help them get access to positive resources that we all have inside of us. And I wonder if you could give me an example of how you do that.
Well, talking about hope, as you know, building hope is one of the most important things because people get so demoralized often because of all the symptoms and all the complaints that they got because of the traumatic experiences. So one of the first questions that I ask people when they enter my office is, what are your best hopes? Solution-focused questions. And at the end I ask, oh, and suppose all the things that you're hoping for become reality, what difference will that make in your life?
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say, Fredrike, is that you really love to get people to talk right away about their hopes, in connecting with their hopes and dreams and their sense of moving forward in that way.
So the focus in my treatments is on one hand on acknowledging what people have been going through or still are going through on one hand, and on the other hand talking with them and inviting them to describe a better future.
A detailed description of their better future. Amazing. And so what do you see when they do these two things? They get in touch with their hopes and they get in touch with their own ideal description of a better future. What do you see happen?
For the first time, sometimes start sitting more upright, having a sparkle in their eyes, a little smile coming out, because it's not about where people want to get away from, but it's where people want to go to. It's an approach goal, and it's not an avoidance goal. It's not You know, I don't want to be there, but it's, yes, I want to go that way.
Can you tell me about the importance of the stories that you've used throughout your book? Because your book is just filled with these inspirational little vignettes. And do you have a favorite one?
Well, one of the stories in my book, for example, is the story you probably know. It's about the shattered vase.
Right from Bannink's book, Post-Traumatic Stress, on page 29, she tells the story of the shattered vase, and she asks you to imagine that one day you accidentally knock a treasured vase off its perch. It smashes into tiny pieces. What do? Do you try to put the vase back together as it was? Do you collect the pieces and drop them in the trash, regarding the vase as a total loss? Or do you pick up the beautiful pieces and use them to make something new, like a colorful mosaic? When adversity strikes, people often feel that at least some part of themselves, their worldview, their sense of themselves, their relationships, has been smashed. Those who try to put their lives back together exactly as they were remain fractured and vulnerable. But those who accept the breakage and build themselves anew become more resilient and open to new ways of living.
It reminds me of the quote Carl Jung, I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become.
Beautiful. Just to recap, let's just keep in mind that we always want to ask ourselves, what are your hopes and dreams? What would your life look like if it was going to be created in a new way? And of course, this fantastic quote by Jung, can you tell it to us again, Fredrike?
I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become.
That is just beautiful. Thank you so much, Fredrike, for sharing your experience, your story with us, and this powerful book, that just reading the book itself has that element of hope embedded deeply inside of it. So again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and to share with our viewers. And again, Fredrike, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise about positive psychology and the hopeful things that we can do to grow after trauma.
For more Ask Dr. Anna videos and information about post-traumatic growth and recovery, subscribe and like our YouTube videos at What is PTSD, or join us at previous video episodes in our playlist Ask Dr. Anna from the Traumatology Institute team.